Hey guys, this is Vijay Sridhar and once again I am back with a new tool to offer as open source, and this time it is a programmer's editor called Enigma Plus. Don't you think that it's one more editor just like any editor else? No, this has a lot of features that will just blow your mind because they're all inbuilt into it. You don't need any other plugins to execute those functions. Let's look at them. This is how when you open Enigma Plus in your Windows system looks like, and then this is the file explorer where all your drives and directories are listed. So you can open any file from here, and you have the file filters over here. Right, so I will not dig much into this file explorer, and then you have the form explorer, which keeps it much apart from the existing conventional editors. This editor will become much more reliable for you, not just for the copy paste things or keeping the track of files that you're using, but also for the functionality of creating forms like Microsoft Access. Yes, you heard it right. You can create forms like Microsoft Access, but using a different methodology. Let's look at it. When you go into the Forms Explorer, you can see three directories called debug, finalized, and personalized. When you create any form, it will go into debug. You're comfortable with that, you can finalize that form. That goes into finalized as a template one, and this template you can use it for your purpose into your personalized folder. There is a form definition, how you want the form to look like, and then there is data which you fill into the form. Both of them are put together into one called the form definition. So let me create a new form here in the debug section. I will name it as employee. So when you create a new form, it will show you the syntax. Yes, so it says this form is about employee data. This is the template that it uses. You can change to whatever you want. And then there are three form definitions. One form definition for departments, one form definition for projects, and the last one for employees. Apart from this, there is also a report here. So it means there is a departments table which is given a name departments. The table name is this on the right side, which will have a field called department ID of the text type, department name, text type, manager, a pre-populated list of values from this list. That's what it says. And now there is a projects table, and there is a project ID which is text, name, project name, text, manager ID, which is a drop down value, and it is coming from employees table, the employee name from the employees table. Now where is the employees table? Now here is the employees table. So there is employees table, and you have an employee ID, employee name, salary, date of birth, department ID. Now department ID is a drop down box. It is coming from the departments table. Now don't think of cyclic redundancy, that department is being referred in employees, employees is referred in projects. It will all get sorted out, don't worry. And then there is a project also, which is a drop down. The project ID is coming from this table. So here also you can see cross dependency, but that doesn't create any problem for you, don't worry. And then finally report. This report name is called project import or whatever you want to name it, and then coming from projects table, select whatever fields you have and order by this one. So how do you compile this? So go to employee, right click and compile form. When you compile the form, it will throw at you which user will insert the data into this form. So you can put your initials or whatever. I will say Vijay, and then you can see this, right? The form is defined. There are departments, projects, and employees. So you can see three names here: departments, projects, and employees. Department has department ID, department name, and managers. Let's see if the manager list is populated from predefined values. Yes, it is. And then you can also see a projects form which is coming like this. So the drop down doesn't have any employee because employees are not inserted yet. So let's insert something. HR. So create a new record. A record has come here. Finance. Sorry there. And then somebody else will manage. New record. So there is a project called A001001. Manager ID. We don't have any manager ID, so let's create a new record first without any manager ID. So here the user is somebody else. User is the person who is trying to put the data in. So it is for me. Okay. So let's enter the employee IDs. Employee ID E001. Let's give new names. So you can see the department ID is coming from here. Project is this one or whatever, or you may ignore the project also sometimes. So new record. So create new record. This record is inserted here, right? So for the project 1 it is assigned. So you can come back to projects also and then say for this project Hari P is the manager, right? You can save this record so it gets updated here. So this is how it works during the debug. You will have to test this. So every time you compile this form, fresh data would appear. All the old data will be lost because this is a new compile constantly. So you can see this. When you do this multiple times, only the fresh data will be thrown at you. It will ask for fresh data. So if you want to look at the data in finalized format, if you want to make it as a template, then make it final, and then it goes into final. Employee has come here, and from here you can have a copy for your personalized data. Once it goes into personalized data, the data will not be lost. So when you double click this, it opens the form with this data. Even in finalized format, you can put the data. It will not recompile and remove all the data, but it will retain the data. But I would suggest retain it as a template. Don't use the data here. Don't use it for entering the data here. You move it to personalized, copy to personal, and then once it appears in personal, you can insert the data whatever you want. So let's say you insert this data now. Create new record and closed it. Next time when you open it, the HR is still in there. It is not cleaned up. So this is how you use it, and these forms appear in your forms. Okay, in your personalized forms you can see this PF1. This not only contains your form definition, it will also contain the form data. You want it you want to give it to your friend, you can copy this PF1 form from finalized and give it to your friend the way you have developed it. It can act as a template. That's one. And you can also define, for example, you can also define a new report on this. So you can see there is all data, there is project import data. You can also create new report by using query, giving it a new name to the report and giving a query here. All that data will be displayed as another tab here where you will get the data. Alright, so that's about forms. Now the project explorer, that is just like any other project, right, where you can develop C or Java project, and then all your source modules are here. So this is just like any syntax highlighting editor. You can see the source code here. But beyond this, what does it have to offer you? It has a lot of things to offer you. One is you have data, for example, in a spreadsheet like this, in a CSV format. So this is the data that you want to insert into an employee table. Employee ID, employee name, salary, and department ID. These are, you have million records to insert. Then you need to create inserts for these million records, or maybe 10,000 records. So how can you do that? What you need to do is go into functions, create inserts from CSV, go here. So I kept it on desktop. This is the file that I will select. So let me go and select the file. So let's go into the create insert from CSV. I have a file here created for you. I've shown you. So from this list of headers, I have to select one header which is of type numeric so that it doesn't put quotes against it. I will say employee is the table that it needs to insert in, and I will just say generate. So it will generate all the insert queries from here. You can use it in your DB2 client, and then or DB2 or Oracle or SQL client, wherever it is, and then insert the data. And then you have compare two lists of values. This compares two lists of values where you have similarly appearing lists and you want to compare them. For example, like this some of the items are missing here, some of the items are missing in the first list, so it will identify those lists. You can also eliminate the duplicates in the first list by just saying remove duplicates. It will tell you which are the lines that are duplicates, and it will give distinct items here. So that's another function which you might greatly make use of. And then you can compare two folders. For example, I can go here and then say I can compare this folder with another folder. Okay, so when you're maintaining two backups, for example, you might want to compare these two backups, which files are missing in which directory. So when you compare that, it will quickly identify which file is missing in which folder. So this is the first set, this is the second set. So those details are provided here. So that is one thing that you would want to make use of. And then workable parallel form. Suppose you want, you don't want to alt tab continuously. You're working on a different environment altogether, but you have copy paste operations to notepad where you constantly alt tab to go to notepad, right? So instead of that, you can say workable parallel form, and then this appears for you. So wherever, in whichever ID you are, you can open this and then copy it and paste it here. And then once you're done with the copy pasting, you can come back to the main workspace where it is copied to an empty file and it is shown to you. So that is another beauty. And then beyond all of this, what else can I do? You can have your work manager. So here you have two perspectives, editor and work items. Let's quickly go into work items. Here you can create work items. You can quickly add a release like general or release 1 from this, and then constantly keep adding your tasks. You can add tasks to any of your release, periodic tasks or daily tasks or one-time tasks. You can add any task. And that gets reflected here. You can also reload this. So you have 3 tasks here. The beauty of it is you can upload a document here which supports blobs and globs and view them in your favorite viewer. This is about tasks. Similarly, you can track defects in your system or wherever you're doing. If you're a person handling a lot of things, then this task manager, defect manager, issue manager will come very handy to you. And you can always export the data minus the blobs. You cannot export the blobs in this version. And if you want to come back to the editor, you have the editor back again. These are the functions at this point in time in Enigma Plus. Hope this will make your life easy working with computers as a programmer or a developer, or even as a team lead in your day-to-day work. And do subscribe to my channel so that you can get more and more tools like this, or any upgrades on these tools into your inbox directly. Thanks for watching.